demonstration is going to be performed on this 92 Ford Taurus. Real quickly, I would like to discuss with you the difference between preparation and extrication. Preparation are all the different benchmarks you need to cover for putting hydraulic tools to the vehicle. Some of the benchmarks of preparation are 360 walk around, deactivating the electrical system, multi-facets of stabilization, patient contact, glass management, your airbag scan, gaining entry into the trunk, managing seat belts, and pulling the plastic trim. Keep in mind, patient contact should be conducted as soon as possible to formulate your rescue plan. Stable or unstable. Stable patients get textbook extrication. Unstable patients get rapid extrication. Again, these are just a few of the benchmarks that you need to perform during preparation, but I always encourage departments to follow their own SOPs. Now that we've completed our preparation phase, now it's time to talk about the extrication phase. We're going to start on this total sidewall removal by popping the rear door, swinging it open, making a relief cut at the bottom of the B-post, applying my spreaders, tearing along the rocker channel, coming up, cutting the top of my B-post, swinging both door sections, including B-post, out, and finishing the evolution with either cutting or spreading my hinges, and then moving into the modified dash lift. At this point, we have our rear door popped open. Now our next step is to make a relief cut along the rocker channel at the bottom of the B-post. Dig in your cutter as deep as you can, which then you'll bring in your spreader. You'll have placement of one of your spreader tips directly below the cut along the rocker channel, pushing on the door. You're going to create a tearing action across the bottom of the B-post, severing the bottom of the B-post from the rocker channel. We just made our relief cut at the bottom of the B-post. Now this is the most critical part. Placement of your spreader tips. You want to bring your spreader in, and along your rocker channel, you want to place your tips directly below where you made that relief cut, putting all of that pressure along the frame rail, which is the rocker channel, and pushing off of it along the door, which will create a tearing movement across the bottom of the B-post. This is the end result after making that relief cut at the bottom of the B-post and applying our spreaders. Now we completely tore it across the rocker channel and relieved the bottom of the B-post. Now this is where I like to make the point that this relief cut on the bottom of the B-post has to be done before the top of the B-post. Keeping that intact, it does two things for us. First thing it does, it keeps everything in line to allow our relief cut to travel along the rocker channel and nowhere else. The second thing it does, it keeps this fully intact and stabilized so it doesn't go into our patient. If that cut would have been made, I have the potential of that top of that B-post hitting my patient. So our next step now is to cut the top of the B-post and swing it all out. finishing stages of our total sidewall removal. At this point, the rescuer should be looking at the hinges. There's two types of hinges. There's exposed and there's recessed. If you can wrap your cutter blades around the hinge, they're exposed. If you can't get your cutter blades around the hinge, then they're recessed. Exposed hinges should be cut with a cutter. That's the fastest way because you already have the cutter in your hand from cutting the top of the B-post. But if they're recessed, the quickest way is to use your spreader and spread them off. After finishing that, if I have the cutter in my hand, I immediately move into my blended technique with the modified dash lift by cutting a 4-inch portion at the top of that A-pillar to allow movement when I displace the dash. As you can see, we finished our sidewall removal. Now we're getting into the modified dash lift. We went ahead and removed the front fender to show you the different landmarks of what you're looking for. There's going to be a series of relief cuts. We already did 2 of them on top of the A-post to allow movement from top. A landmark that we need is the front strut. We want to make 1 relief cut directly behind the front strut. This is our pivot point for our dash. Next 2 relief cuts are going to be directly below the dash and 4 to 6 inches below that, either above or below the bottom hinge. Okay? After those 2 cuts are done, you want to come back up and complete the top cut into the wheel well. Because what this enables you is you're anticipating for that tear of metal to run across, not down into the floorboard where the patient's legs are. Because once that tear comes across and it meets either welds, rivets, or bends, you have a chance of that tear running along it instead of through it. That's why we go ahead and complete that cut. We have all of our relief cuts done. Our next process is going to be with our spreader. What we're going to do is we're going to crib underneath our rocker channel, because with all those relief cuts that have been made, we lost the stability that holds that rocker channel in place. So when we create that force to lift the dash, what will end up happening if I don't crib it, I'll just send the rocker channel to the floor, which is defeating the purpose. I want all of this stuff, the rocker channel included, in the floorboard to stay in place. With our spreader, we're either going to squeeze or manipulate this little piece out of the way, which is going to create a little bit of a void for our spreader tips to lift. can see the end product of a modified, successful dash lift. You can see that our relief cut created great pivot, good pitch. We have relief cuts underneath the dash that did not allow any tear to go into the floorboard. We've got about 20 inches of separation. Probably could have got another 4 to 6. So starting from the back with the total sidewall removal, blended with a modified dash lift. I'm Jerry Swift, and I want to thank you for viewing this video, and always remember the cardinal rule: be safe.